Hi, my name is TJ. My dad died of overdose on January 1st, 2011, and my mom is a recovering addict. God helped my mom, and now together we are here to help you. Now let's talk recovery. Here's your host, my mom, Susan Sexton-Wood.
Hi, and welcome to Let's Talk Recovery. I am your host, Susan Sexton-Wood. We have a guest today, Clint Wyatt. He's going to be joining us and sharing with us his testimony of being a recovering addict. But first, we're going to listen to Pete, Mercer, and Cristen, and You Are the Way.
I see all of my struggles. I see all of my fears. I see all of my imperfections. There's one thing I hold dear. I see all of my struggles. I see all of my fears. I see all of my imperfections. There's one thing I hold dear. It is the way that you love me. It is the way that you gave me new life again. You erase all of my shame. It is the way that you hold me when I'm alone. Jesus, you become my home. And in my weakness, you are strong. It is the way. It is the way. I see all of my failures. I see all of my tears. I see all of my deliberate sin. There's one thing I hold dear. I see all of my failures. I see all of my tears. I see all of my deliberate sin. There's one thing I hold dear. It is the way that you love me. It is the way
We want to thank Pete and Cristen Mercer for being with us. If you would like them to come sing at your church or your event, you can call the number that will be on the screen and we can lead you to them. Since knowing both of them, they just definitely what's called worship. They definitely bring the worship to the church. Our guest now is Clint Wyatt. How are you, Clint?
I'm doing great tonight, Susan. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Well, you're from a very small town.
Yes.
And the epidemic has definitely arose, probably more than arose in your neck of the woods.
Oh, absolutely. I'm from a small town called Union City, Indiana, which is about 30 miles from here. And I remember growing up in addiction. I became an addict at the age of 16. First started doing drugs there in a small town, and heroin was really not to be found around there back then. Marijuana, alcohol, cocaine, crack cocaine, but really never heard of heroin back in the 90s in a small town much. I think I ran across it a few times then when I was early in my addiction. Now, though, not so much. About the only thing you can find there now is heroin. It's easier to find heroin than it is marijuana in a small town now. And yes, I've lost several of my close friends from my small town have passed away. One just recently, a few weeks ago, overdosed and passed away. A girl I went to school with and knew at a young age and things. So. Been very tough.
So what led you to your recovery?
What led me to my recovery in 2015, after several years of shooting up heroin, I was miserable, of course. Anybody that's been in an addiction knows it's a miserable way of life. You're really not happy. It starts off, you think you're enjoying yourself, you think you're having fun, but once you become addicted, there is no fun to it. So in 2015 is when I first started reaching out for help, and actually, I was raised in church, so I actually went into a church after shooting up heroin and searching for help, wanting help. I asked for prayer in the church, and somebody mentioned your name, actually, and told me, that's when I first heard your name. They told me about you, that you was a recovering addict. They gave me your phone number, and I believe I called you within a day or two, and we spoke and things. You were the first person that kind of gave me hope that there was a way out of heroin addiction. And it was about another year or so before I finally quit. But that's when I first got my hope that I could quit, was from speaking to you.
Do you have any other family members that struggle with addiction? Is this something that's been kind of a chain reaction and been passed down through your family?
Yes, absolutely. Growing up, I had a father who was a alcoholic. He was not the type of person who just went to the bar and drank occasionally or something. He was the type of alcoholic who woke up every morning, grabbed his whiskey bottle, and would start drinking at 7 o'clock in the morning. I remember waking up for school, and he would be in the kitchen with his whiskey bottle taking shots of whiskey, and then he would go get sick in the bathroom, 7 o'clock in the morning. He was a wonderful man, wonderful father, but he was just addicted to alcohol. And the irony of the situation, his sister, my aunt, was a drug addict. She was a cocaine addict. And I remember my father always putting her down, saying, she's a drug addict. I don't do drugs. But he was an alcoholic. Today, my aunt is still alive. She still does her drugs. Still lives a very rough life. My father, though, passed away in 2006 from his alcoholism. He developed cirrhosis of the liver, and they told him he if he didn't quit drinking, he was going to die. And he drank right up until probably about an hour before his death. He still had the whiskey bottle in his hand. So yeah, addiction definitely runs in my family.
So not only have you lost friends to addiction, but you've also lost your father to addiction.
Yes. I lost my father in 2006, and so I definitely understand what family members go through when they have a child or a loved one in addiction, because there are times, even today, I hold a little bit of a grudge against my dad, because he chose alcohol, I feel, over me and my brother. You know, he would still be here with us today if he would have quit drinking. On the same hand, the addiction side of me, I understand the struggle he was going through and why he struggled to quit. You know, so I definitely feel the compassion and love for him, and I understand.
Right. In addiction, we learn not to trust people, that we can't trust them. We can't build relationships because they're either drug-induced or they're abusive. There's a lot of scenarios that come with the active addiction lifestyle. How are you today with building new relationships?
Well, you know, you're right though. It is hard to trust people once you get out of addiction, because while in addiction, you can't trust anyone. You know, all your friends are constantly lying to you, trying to take advantage of you. You lie to yourself in addiction, so you don't believe anybody. Today, by being around the right people and things, I'm learning to trust people, and I think a big part of that is that I can trust myself now. You know, as far as like other types of relationships, you know, I've been clean a year and 3 months, and I had a sponsor tell me one time, you know, that the first year you're clean, that you should not date or anything like that. So I have not dated, and they said after you're clean a year, if you can keep a goldfish alive for another year, then you could start dating. And so far, I've killed 3 goldfish, so it'll be a while before I can date. You know.
That's funny. So, in addiction, you've lost individuals, and in recovery, you've also lost loved ones.
Yes. I went to rehab here in Richmond, Indiana, and while I was in rehab, I got very close to a young man there. He was 21 years old. His name was Brian, and me and him just hit it off, and loved the boy. And after we got out of rehab together, we remained close and things. And actually, this past summer, he died of an overdose, and that definitely affected me hard. And I've lost other close friends and things to heroin overdoses.
So you volunteer at Unchained Praises. What led you to volunteer?
You know, people like you, Susan. I mean, you giving me hope and helping me. I want to do the same for other people. You know, I was miserable in heroin addiction, miserable in all forms of drug addiction, but I want to see other people recover. I don't want to see anybody going through what I had to go through, or what my father had to go through, what any of us had to go through. So it really does something for me when I am able to help someone else, you know. So I do. I help out with Unchained Praises. I help out with another organization called Brianna's Hope. I do everything I can to help others, just because I don't want anyone in the situation I was in.
Right. Share with us about Brianna's Hope.
Brianna's Hope is an organization. It was started in Red Key, Indiana. A young girl named Brianna, I can never say her name right, so I'm not even going to try. She passed away, and her body was found in the Jay County Conservation Club. And so a preacher from Red Key, Indiana, started this organization in memory of Brianna to help other addicts recover and things. So they meet once a week in Winchester, Indiana. It's basically a support group for struggling addicts and things. And it's a place we can come, a place we can talk about the struggles we're going through. It's a place you can go. You're going to find someone who's got more recovery time than you, someone that will be there to support you along the way.
Well, and they also help people get into detox and treatment.
Absolutely.
With
that,
the help
that
of
is
Pam.
one big thing they do that definitely has a major impact for addicts and things, because it is hard to get into detox and to pay for it and things like that. And they will send somebody to detox free of charge in Indianapolis. And so that's a big thing they do. And I've seen that help several addicts.
Well, and now they have some funding to help with rehab facilities.
Absolutely.
So it's more than just detox now, and they continue to grow. They have now about 19 meetings
I believe
throughout
it's around
Indiana.
19, yeah, spreading all over. Yep.
So when you're helping someone and they relapse, how do you deal with that?
You know, I recently went through something like that, and it was very tough for me, because the person who relapsed was a very good friend of mine, someone who I go to meetings with and things like that, someone who I love and am very close to. So they relapsed, and it hurt my heart. You know, I felt some sense of guilt. I think, you know, like maybe I should have been there for them more than I was. You know, like I had done something wrong, and so the main thing I did was try to let them know that I am here for them, and that you can pick yourself back up. You know, I've done it. I actually was clean 13 years at one point in my life, and I relapsed and went into heroin addiction. So I explained to them that it doesn't matter. You can always pick yourself back up. And so today, by the grace of God, they have picked themselves back up. They got on the Vivitrol shot today, and they're getting ready to go to Crossroads Recovery here pretty soon. So
That's good.
Yes.
That's good. We learn that recovery is different than sobriety. Recovery is a lifestyle change.
Absolutely.
And so to encourage people not to look at the sobriety time, but look at the recovery time and what they've learned is something that we tried to advocate for, because really a relapse will take people down, and if we're beating ourselves up, it will keep us down.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. When I relapsed after 13 years, I mean, there was so much guilt, shame, and everything. You know, I think I was almost on a suicide mission. You know, and that's why I got into heroin addiction so hard. I was basically on a suicide mission because of all the guilt, regret, and shame. So it's very important, you know, that this friend of mine, you know, I tried to show them they can't feel guilt and shame. You know, and like you said, recovery and sobriety are two different things, in my opinion. That's why I feel the rehab part of this, they've never went to a rehab and actually been in like a recovery type program. I think this will be good for them, so they can actually work on recovery and get some recovery skills rather than just sobriety skills.
Right. Well, we can sometimes, even in recovery, there are some people that will look down on others because they're looking at sobriety time. They're looking at the date more than what a person is doing to change their life. If you could tell someone that's watching that may be struggling with that they're in recovery, and they're more looked at from their sobriety date instead of their recovery time, what could you say to them to help them just keep moving forward? Because there seems to be, in a lot of cases, we're not content with our recovery anymore. We think that we should be moving forward a little bit faster, or we should have accomplished things. And so people get discouraged even in recovery. So what could you share with the audience?
Yeah, I think what you just said, we always feel like it should be moving faster. It seems like addiction is a downward spiral that happens quickly sometimes. Recovery, I have learned, takes time. And when I quit using, I wanted everything to just, boom, snap my fingers, and I would have my life back together instantly. And it definitely has not been that way. So I guess what I would say to someone is just remember, just keep moving forward day by day. Be patient. Be patient. It does take time. Recovery does not happen overnight. Things do get better slowly with time.
So you've recently went to a class to be certified for community health worker and recovery specialist.
Yes.
What was that like, going and doing something different, because God's leading you to help other people, and so being in a class like that is much different from other things that you have done?
Yes. Yeah, I did. I got certified. You kind of led me to the class to become certified as a recovery specialist, and this is definitely something I look forward to doing. As time moves on and things, working with other addicts to help them recover. The class was very interesting. Learned a lot of things about recovery. I guess I'd always seen recovery and addiction from an addict side, but hearing it from a different aspect, a classroom aspect and things, there were some definitely some interesting things that I did learn, and I think some of the stuff I'll be able to apply and help others, no doubt.
So the Christian walk is a big part of your recovery. It's a big part of your life right now. What could you share about that aspect of your life to help someone that may be lost, maybe not, they might not believe in God, they may just struggle with knowing how to even move forward?
Absolutely. I could not make it without the Lord. The Lord was the only way I could get out of heroin addiction. And I know there are some people that do struggle with believing in God and believing in the Lord. The Lord is so powerful. He's more powerful than heroin addiction. He's more powerful than alcoholism, meth, cocaine, anything. If right now, if you're in addiction, if you will just cry out to God and ask Him to reveal Himself to you, I believe that He will. And that's what I did. I asked God. I said, God, if you can help me get out of this heroin addiction, please just help me. And He did. He heard my cry for help, and He pulled me out.
Good. Well, we want to thank Clint for being on the show. I'm led to share a poem with you, and this is called Salvation. Bad things happen, even when there's good inside. God gave you a smackdown, all along you wonder why. Salvation is through Jesus Christ, the one that gave His life for you. Eternity starts from within. Broken hearts can become new. You've been very sick. I've sat by your side. Always got your back. I would never tell you bye. God's doing His work in your heart and mine. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Now I think it's the right time. I now introduce you to our Savior, Jesus Christ, the one they call the Messiah, the one that gave His own life. Ask for forgiveness. His arms are open wide. He will also never leave you, never high and dry. He can wash your sins away. He can break that ball and chain. Jesus Christ died for your sins. Just pray, and He will guide your way. Today, God has given me a purpose, and I have a purpose in life, and that is to help others understand that God is the answer and that we can become different people. I am an advocate for the parents and for the community, for the children. At Unchained Praises, we are the voice of hope. We are the voice of the children that scream for their parents. We are the voice of the parents that cry for their children. We are the voice of hope. We want to help the still suffering addict. We want to help you if you are struggling and you just don't know what to do. We encourage you to give us a call. We have peer support groups in Winchester and in Wayne County. We have peer-to-peer counseling. If you feel that you've been touched by listening to Clint today, he is a certified community health worker and a recovery specialist, and he can help you work on a personal recovery plan. I'm sure that he would be more than happy to just work with you if you feel that he is someone that you can trust and that he can just help you build in that recovery plan. We have events. We have